Welcome back to another episode of Heroes and Videos. We're going to be looking at last week's comics this week. Apologies to John Oliver. Also at the end of the video, I'm going to be opening a bagged issue of KO #1, DC's new event book that came wrapped in a plastic bag, so I don't know what cover I've got. Full disclosure, I did already read the book. I have an unbagged copy, if you will. So we'll be opening one of those live here at the end of the show to see just what cover I did get. Spoilers ahead for some of the comics we're going to be talking about. These are last week's books. And maybe a few weeks prior to that, just in terms of me catching up on my reading. So would love it if you like the channel. If you want to see more content, please hit notifications below. And you can wait to the end if you want to see if you do want to like the channel. But would certainly appreciate it. With no further ado, let's get right into it. First up is Vision and Scarlet Witch #5. This has been I've been very impressed with this book. It's beautiful to look at. And as a fan of these two characters, they've been kind of off and on over the years in terms of how what Marvel's doing with them. This book pays tribute to a lot of that and takes it a little further, and it's just kind of cool. You see, we've got White Vision there, not quite the White Vision you might be anticipating, but I really do. I love what they're doing with this title and with these two characters. This is the last part of a 5-issue series, and just like the MCU, when they say so and so will return in at the end of this, talks about the fact that the Vision and the Scarlet Witch will their next adventures you can see in the next issue of Avengers. So I just really like this. It's neat. It builds. It's got Grim Reaper in it. Just the whole concept is really cool. And again, these characters are as true to form as I've seen them in a while, and I'm a huge fan of them both, particularly the Vision going way back. But it's a good book. It's a good, fun read. I don't know if you want to wait for the trade at this point because the last issue just came out. But it's really good. Speaking of being continued in the Avengers, next up is Avengers #31. I'm sure we're getting close to a renumbering or a legacy numbering here, because I think it's legacy number 797. As you can see, the big bad here is Kang. It plays off of a storyline about a missing moment that's been in play since the first of this volume, back in #1 of this iteration of the team. It's a good group. It's all your favorites. It's Vision, Scarlet Witch, Tony Stark, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, Sam Wilson, Captain America, T'Challa, and Storm is kind of the new member, if you will, that's not like our standard team. It's been really good. It hadn't been quite super big concept like, say, Hickman's Secret War stuff, but it's a pretty big concept. There's a Forever City, I think it's called. It's basically a giant spaceship city that has become a sentient Avenger, which is a neat concept. Kang here as a sympathetic villain as it starts out, maybe not so sympathetic as it goes along, but it's fun to see what they're doing with Kang in this, and it looks like it's building to something. I'm assuming it's building to Legacy 800, but as always, I know I'm a complete Marvel apologist, but I am enjoying the Avengers book. Another book I'm enjoying is X-Men. This is the last issue prior to this Age of Revelation event that's coming up. We're going to talk about that in a minute. You see there, Cyclops is half of what we're looking at there, and that is Professor X as opposed to Cassandra Nova in the background, as well as Apocalypse. And it's Doug Ramsey, I believe, who was Cypher back in the New Mutants run. He's looking a little buff there at post Jonathan Hickman, Age of Krakoa. But this is a good book. I'm enjoying both the adjectiveless X-Men and Uncanny X-Men. I hope they continue that their momentum after this event that we'll talk about in a moment. But yeah, I'm enjoying this book and this one as well. It's each of those teams has a different reason for being. The Uncanny folks are more of the New Mutants or the school, if you will, for a team of New Mutants. They're in Louisiana, near New Orleans, and it's Gambit and Rogue kind of running that show. This is more Cyclops' squad. they're in Alaska. Beast, Magneto. There's a number of sorry, that's how I pronounce it, Magneto. But it's good because each team has a different mission, and and it's just cool the way that they both books are doing different things, and they're doing them very, very well. Since we were just talking about the X-Men event, we'll jump right into that. This is X-Men Age of Revelation Overture. I don't know if we just run out of ways to say prologue. Overture is not quite a prologue, but that's kind of what this is. It's the first issue of it. I just thought this was a really pretty cover. Mild spoilers coming up here for all these books, I think I said. Not that there are no new ideas under the sun, but there are kind of no new ideas under the sun. This is a neat take on an old idea. X-Men Days of Future Past, remember, was a future Kitty Pryde coming back to a present day to warn us about an upcoming future. So what's the opposite of that? Well, it's not Kitty Pryde, but suppose you take Cyclops's, not persona, mind, if you will, right? His being. Suppose you take current day Cyclops and throw his mind into a future self 10 years from now. So it's kind of the opposite of Days of Future Past. This is where instead of pulling a character from the future, pulling their consciousness, that's the word I'm looking for, consciousness, from the future back to present day, what if you pulled present day's consciousness of a character into a nightmarish future? And that's what they've done here, which is pretty neat hook, I think. In this case, it's Cyclops who's being pulled in for our current day. Scott Summers is being pulled into a future. So I'm curious to see where this goes. I enjoyed that concept. It's pretty neat. I'm big on new sci-fi concepts, and while it's not a new concept, it is pretty cool that they're kind of flipping that story idea on his head. So I think that's kind of neat, and it surprises me honestly that it took this long for somebody to flip that. Next up is New Avengers number 5. This book's really got an old Secret Defenders vibe, and that's not a crack. I mean, I know that wasn't necessarily the greatest book in the 90s, but it's more like, well, let's say maybe original Defenders. The fact that they're different members of this team, kind of issue to issue. Some come in. Carnage is now in the mix there. Eddie Brock. You've got the Hulk, kind of sort of showing up. Black Widow, Winter Soldier, or Bucky, I should say. Laura Kinney, Wolverine, Klee, a number of folks. That's an evil Reed Richards, and no, it's not the maker. There's some clone shenanigans going on here, but it's a fun read. It's a fun read. So, they're trying to deal with these rampant clones of the Illuminati, and I think they're called the Killminati or something bizarre like that. But it's interesting to see the dynamic. Oh, Namor's in the book as well, which it's kind of cool to see. Bucky and Namor have got history. So do Natasha and a number of characters from the book, and it's just they're a little crazy. It's not quite like the X-Force Kill Squad sort of thing. It's certainly not that deep as the Remender run, but it's just fun to see these characters interact. Next up is some DC goodness. I was talking about the KO event, some of the stuff that leads into that. There's a book out, a special called Absolute Evil. You don't really need to read the other stuff. You just have to know that the Absolute Universe is different. This takes place within the Absolute Universe at DC. It doesn't play up to the KO event necessarily, but it's a really neat one shot. And if you don't, I don't want to say like an Elseworlds thing, because the Absolute Universe is sort of its own thing within the context of DC's All In event and the KO event that we'll get to in a minute. But this is just you see some pretty dirty hands there. This book's a lot about getting your hands dirty, and a couple of really shocking moments in here, one in particular. But it's a good read if you're interested in a good book. Again, you don't have to know anything about it going in, other than it's not necessarily your regular DC universe. But I enjoyed the book as a one-off. Next up, speaking of that KO event, this is Justice League Special: The Omega Act. Love that cover with Superman doing the Pieta pose, or and sorry Crisis fans, or even Batman and Robin fans from way back, Leonardo da Vinci did it first. No, wait, I'm sorry. Michelangelo did it first. My bad. Picked the wrong Renaissance Ninja Turtle artist, if you will. So yes, Michelangelo. I should know that. And Pieta. It's just really cool. You see Flash. The race is on. This is a one shot. It leads into the KO event and all the stuff going on with Justice League and World's Finest and Superman lately. Everything leading out of that All-In special. This is just one more piece of that. It's a good book. I enjoy what they're doing with Booster the last year or two, even though he hasn't been around much. Semi-spoilers. But yeah, anything All-In related, KO related, I'm all in at this point. Man, that was terrible pun. But yeah, good stuff. One more DC here before we get to my favorite character, and then the KO Unbagging. This is Batman #2. This was the cover I picked up for this book. I think on the inside it's got the regular newsstand cover. A little Batman Deadpool goodness over there. That next issue of that's coming up soon. This is a really good book. This book is Batman's more of a detective. It's a little more lighthearted than the other stuff. It's more in line with I don't want to say exactly like it's not at all exactly like Fraction's Hawkeye book that was so amazing, but it is just really great. The art pops. I'm really enjoying this book. It's got some humor in it. It's not your Grant Morrison Batman, or it's not your Bat God. You know, the got a plan for everything, infallible, nothing ever goes wrong Batman, which is. There were some genuine humor moments in the first issue, and this one, along with some great, some surprises, some tension. It's just Matt Fraction's Batman's off to a great start, and I will be continuing to pick that up. Next up is Amazing Spider-Man #13 Legacy. I should know this, 977. So we are counting down, as I mentioned in previous videos, with what happened in issue 11 of this book, which was a double size issue where we had, and again, spoilers, so if you don't want to know, watch one of my other videos, click over to something else, read a book, do something, and come back here in a couple of minutes. But our hero, they're basically two Spider-Man stories going on, one of which has got someone as Spider-Man in Manhattan today, as well as Ben Reilly and characters like in the Spider Crew or whatever you want to call them. On Earth. Our boy Pete is not on Earth, as you can tell from some of the guest stars there. Looking at you, Raccoon, or Rocket, excuse me. It's really neat. They introduced a great cast of characters in this book. I've been reading some things online about how Peter Parker should, that he needs non-powered a cast, supporting characters like, Mary Jane, why you got to be a superhero, or even particularly Venom. Black Cat, all these characters in Peter's life seem to be heroes or villains. You need to give him some normal folks. Well, interestingly enough, he's got a pretty well-rounded cast of characters in this, and all of them, as you can see, none of them, I should say, are non-superpowered. Pete's got a new suit. It's not the little symbiote you see down here in the bottom. I think Symbi's what he goes by. But these are some really interesting characters. I look forward to seeing where this is going. And in the meantime, over the course, I'm assuming, of the next year, since there's 23 issues left till issue 1000, it comes out every 2 weeks. One issue is going to be on Earth, or with the character that's currently serving as Spider-Man, and the other one will be Peter Parker's adventures with this new suit in outer space. And it's just really cool. This book has got all the stuff. This issue obviously is one that deals with Peter. It's got all the things you love to see about Peter Parker as a leader, and as a human. His character. It's just great. Again, my favorite character in all of comics, and it's just really cool to see some of the reasons, or some of the reasons why. And of course, the art's amazing. But it's just really cool to see to see him, yeah, there's a great rocket shot. It's just really cool to see Peter Parker, being this great character and this moral compass and this great leader that he seems to be, regardless of power set, any of that stuff. He's just one of the best characters in comics, at least for me. So, with that said, we're going to jump right into DC's event. Now, I can't say enough about this book. And about just DC's event in general. Over the last year or so, DC's doing this all-in thing. And if you're into it and if you've been reading it, that's great. I'd love to hear in the comments what you think about it. If you're not, good time to jump in. The all-in special last summer, I'm sure, is still out there on newsstands somewhere, or at comic shop somewhere, I should say. And all the stuff in Superman here recently, as well as some of the Justice League books, and even some World Finest, have kind of led up to this. So you want to read all of those leading into this, that's fine. Catch up and do so. This book is really written so you could just jump in, and you don't need to have read all the other stuff. It'll help, but the setup is basically, it's almost like March Madness in October. Heroes and villains duking it out in kind of a big contest of champions thing. It reminds me probably more of that Marvel 2-in-1 annual where the Thing and all the strongest heroes on Earth had to duke it out for like a big championship fight. Well, it's kind of like that, except the stakes are a lot higher. So all the stuff with Booster, all the stuff with Darkseid, all the stuff with the Absolute Universe being created, all of these things came out of that all-in special, and it all leads up to this giant Tournament of Champions, KO, whatever you want to call it. The art's fantastic. The writing is on point. It gets a little dark, but it's also, there's moments of light and joy, and well, not a lot of those, but it's cool. And I love new science fiction or at least not. I love fresh science fiction concepts, and this has got one of those. This has got a couple of those in this book in terms of what things are happening, how a villain can be in more than one place at once, in more than one time at once. It's just really cool, and it's got gravity to it. It's got weight. It feels like this is a big deal. So again, these all came polybagged like this. I am going to try to figure out how to get into this thing without tearing it up. This is a lights out. Like KO. I get it. Very clever, DC. Each bag includes one randomly inserted foil variant covered by a superstar artist. And there's 5 stars on the back, so that must mean something, right? I don't know if that's 5 stars out of 100, 5 stars out of 5. I don't know. But, oh, wait, there's 10 stars if you count these 5. So, with no further ado, let's see what I have here. I'm really curious if hopefully it's not the one that I bought the actual cover of. We're going to see if I can get into this thing without tearing it open. Oh, I mean without tearing the book open, you know what I'm saying. So here we go. All right, I'm going to pull this apart. So hopefully you'll see the book before I do. Almost there. Okay. Here, let's do it on the back. All right, so we'll see if I can pull this out. With the back cover here, so all together now we'll see exactly what I got. It is, oh wow, that's interesting. I don't know who did that, but if I'm reading that right, it looks like a wrestling ring in the background, and going to draw on my somewhat rudimentary knowledge of wrestling from back in the 70s or 80s. And I'm not that much of a rookie. I saw Andre the Giant, Baron von Raschke, and Ricky Steamboat. We're talking like front row, back with the folding chairs, not getting slammed over you, but folding chair. They have folding chairs on the floor that we'd be sitting in on front row. So it looks like he's getting suplexed or pile drivered. Let me know in the comments, you guys, if you're into wrestling, which one of those moves it is. It is Superman, and I think that's Darkseid. I want to say that's a pile driver. Suplex would be, I think, if he's going backwards with him. I don't know. I will not embarrass myself or all of us with trying to attempt that. And kids, do not try this at home. But that's an interesting cover. I don't know. Oh, okay. Here we go on the back. Remember, kids, Reading is the key to smart. Variant cover by Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. So that's what Daryl Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer did that Superman Dark Side suplex or pile driver, cover. Oh, and that is the only cover. I was thinking it might be covering up another one. But again, not to spoil too much of this book, but it is beautiful. I have read it. It's just amazing. It's just so beautiful to look at. And there's a lot of exciting stuff on it too. Again, cannot recommend this enough. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I like that. So, full disclosure, if you don't want to do the bag thing, there are variant covers out there, and even non-variant. I think there's one that's got kind of see-through where the words KO are clear, so you can see through to the actual cover, which is a pretty neat one as well. But that is it. KO number 1. It's going to have some tie-ins. The thing is, it's not. I think it's one of these events where there's probably 50 things you can read if you want, but the actual book itself, it looks like, is just a couple of issues. There's the Omega Act that we were talking about just now, DC KO1, Titans, Superman, Flash, Justice League Unlimited. That's this month, and then there's a DC KO Night Fight, not Knife Fight. Like, that's not like bringing a knife to a gunfight. It's Night Fight, like the Dark Knight. Get it? Get it? And then Aquaman, Titans, DC KO number 2, Superman, Flash, Justice League Unlimited. And then in December, it sounds like there's an all-fight month, and the battle continues. Oh, my word. So buckle up, kids. The battle continues through March 2026. So, that's going to go on for a little bit. But again, I'm loving the book. It's the whole build up to it's been great. It's got me reading Superman again for the first time in years. Absolute Universe ties into this, I think, mainly because, as you can see, Darkseid is in the book. So yeah, I'm really enjoying KO number 1. Would love to hear what you all think about it in the comments. Let me know. And as always, keep reading comics, keep going to see movies, and be kind to each other.